I want to go back to the phone lines. We'll talk next to Jamie, listening in Cotton Valley, Louisiana, on the web. Hi, Jamie.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Just fine. I was wanting to know, do you believe hellfire is literal or metaphorical?
Well, I think the Bible uses metaphors, and those metaphors have sharp teeth. And I think the reality of hell is far greater than the metaphors that are used to describe it, whether it being sulfur or fire or blackest darkness forever. All of the metaphors pale by comparison to the reality.
Okay, so you don't know if it's going to be fire or...
Well, no. The fire is a metaphor. So when the Bible uses the metaphor of fire, we should always recognize the metaphor for what it is intending to communicate to us. So when the Bible speaks of God's throne flaming with fire, we're not to think that God's throne is on fire. Rather, we're to understand the metaphor, that there's a comparison here that is in view. Likewise, when we read that there are lamps of fire before the throne of God, we're not to think that there are actual lamps of fire before the throne of God, because the Bible itself tells us not to think in that way. The Bible tells us what the lamps of fire represent. And, of course, the interpretation that John gives us in the text itself is that these are the seven spirits of God. So we should always interpret the Scripture in the sense in which it's intended. Jesus no doubt used the metaphor of fire to get through to an obstinate people more concerned with their physical well-being than the eternal state of their souls. To be at enmity with the holy God, to experience not so much as a drop of water to assuage the thirst of such separation, is a fearful thing. And that's why fire is used as a metaphor to describe it. And of course, there's ample biblical precedent for interpreting the fire of hell metaphorically. Consider the words of James. He's the half-brother of Jesus. He described the human tongue as being set on fire by hell. Now, the tongue obviously does not mean that it's literally flaming with fire in his description. It's a metaphor communicating the danger of the tongue when it's used in the improper way.
Okay, I sure do appreciate your answer, Hank.
You got it.